everyone, it's Sandra from SeyMoreVacations.com. Today I was going to start this video for my clients who are first-time cruisers and don't know exactly what to do or what to expect when they arrive at the ship or at the port. And so I started thinking the best way, instead of a long email, is to tell them what to expect and exactly what to do, because when you've gone on a first-time cruise, you don't have any idea. There are a lot of people there, and if you're sailing on a ship with 4,000 people, there's 4,000 people, and there are a few workers trying to help everyone get through there. So I thought, I need to do a video and then I will post it on YouTube. So I'm going to be talking to everyone. Hello, if you're not my client, welcome. But if you are my client, this is for you to watch all of it so that you can make sure and know exactly what to expect and you don't miss out. And there's a lot of helpful information and tips in here for you. If you're not my client yet, I hope, and you want me to talk faster, the little secret to that is there's a little cogwheel that is on your right hand side in the corner. So just make it speed up and you can get the gist of what I'm saying, and it'll be a lot faster. So it is going to be long. I have notes today because there's a lot of information that I really want to share with you, because I know when I was a first-time cruiser, for me, I actually was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I was so lost, and I don't want you to be lost. If you know, when you cruise with me and I'm your travel advisor, I hold your hand the whole way. I tell you that all the time. I send fun mail. And so, and information, and this is just one of those informations that's vital for you to know. So let's get started. All right, so you've probably already done this, but if not, you go to the cruise line website and you make a login and you enter your confirmation number that you received from me for your cruise. And then fun thing is you get to see how many days until your cruise, because they start a clock. Then you want to go ahead and check in, and it's going to ask you all that important information, and then you want to print your cruise documents. If they're not available to print at that time, they will notify you. Just make sure you print those documents before you leave. I actually like to do that months before I leave. So as soon as those are available, go ahead and print those documents, put them in your passport, and then take those passport and those important embarkation documents to get on the ship. It's called embarkation. To get off the ship, they call it debarkation. So take those papers, your passport, your cruise documents, and go ahead and put them. I take my suitcases, I pull them out, I put it there with them. Do not put it in the suitcase when you pack, but just put it with it for the moment. And then a little thing I do is anything I think about for the cruise that I buy, an outfit or anything, I just go ahead and put it in there and put that with it, so when I'm ready to pack, I'm running around looking for less items. So you want to do that. If you're as far as for luggage tags, either the cruise line is going to mail them to you or you're going to print them out. So that varies by cruise line. And also, if you get them mailed, you're going to obviously put them on the outside of the luggage that you're checking in, not a carry-on bag, not your purse. And if you print them out, then email me, because I have a little tip and trick for you that I want to share with you. If you're my client, to know how to put those paper printed tags on your luggage. So make sure you do that. And so another note here about luggage tags: if they sent you exactly, or let you print exactly what you're allowed to use. So if it's printed 2 per person, or they mailed 2 per person, that's what you get. You do not get to pay more just to carry more luggage. If whatever it is that you're allowed, that's what you're allowed to use. You can use less, but you cannot use more. So just make sure, little tidbit on that one. So just make sure that you know about that. So you're going to do that. And then this is a great time. Again, if you're my client, you've already gotten several fun emails and information about this. Make sure you have checked that passport. Are there 2 blank pages left in it? And does it expire 6 months after you come home? So if you come home on the 27th of the month, is it still valid for 6 months after the 27th of the month? And so those are not cruise line rules, those are government rules, so you have to abide by them. So make sure on that one. And then you should already have checked my resources page to find out if you need a visa. Not talking about credit card here, I'm talking about a visa to get into a country. And I'm going to put the resources link down below for those of you who just want to check out, who are not my clients, and to know that. On your carry-on bag, you're going, if you choose to bring one, don't need one, but I don't usually use one. I have my pocketbook, and that's good enough for me. But if you choose to do a carry-on, you would need a carry-on if you're going to bring any type of alcohol that is allowed by the cruise ship. Make sure that if you are bringing that on, that you are talking to me about what is actually allowed to bring on that cruise ship. If you're not my client, check with that cruise line, but you want it in your carry-on bag. You do not want it in your luggage that is going to be checked. And also, little tidbit, please secure it in your carry-on bag that is secure. I literally, this past year, someone dropped a bottle of wine and it held up our entire line because we had to stop for safety reasons. And so you just want to make sure that you put it securely in there if you're actually taking that on the ship. And then you might want something on that carry-on bag that might be sunscreen, sunglasses, hat, reading book, medications, because you're not going to be able to get into your cabin right off. I'll explain that in a little bit, but you want to have anything that's pertinent to be on you at that time. And so you want to put that in your carry-on bag, including your passport, including your embarkation or cruise documents. Please put those on your person. Do not put those in your luggage because you cannot get that luggage back. So if you've paid off your cruise, or when you pay off your cruise is when you're allowed to start making reservations for specialty restaurants or spa things, anything that you want to do on the cruise that requires a reservation. You can do those once your cruise is paid off, and I highly, highly, highly suggest that you do it then. So try not to wait. If not, you can do it when you get on the ship, but I highly suggest that you do it then for space-wise. You want to make those reservations. Another thing you can do online before you go is to order water. Some cruise drink packages include bottled water, some do not, so know which ones do or don't. For your particular cruise, you can ask me this question, and I will happily let you know if bottled water is included in your drink package. But if it is not, you're going to want to order bottled water. Now, this is the thing. You can get free water in like the fountain in the buffets, and you get free water in the sit-down dining rooms, and obviously even specialty restaurants. You know, they're not charging you for water that way, but they're not drinking fountains you can walk up to, like in, you know, in office buildings that you can actually get water out of. There's not that. So you want to figure out how much water will you and everyone need who are cruising, and I go ahead and I order that water before we leave. And I have it in my cabin when we get there for two reasons. One, it's already done and it's there. And the second reason is if you ordered online before, you're not going to pay a gratuity on it for someone to deliver it to you. So you can, if you want, you know, and pay that gratuity. It just saves you a little bit on that. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is call your credit card company. When you check in online, they're going to ask you for a credit card to be on file for all of your charges that aren't included in the cruise. So you will call that credit card company, let them know that you're going to be traveling out of the country so that they do not put a stop on your card when you're traveled out of the country and they think your card is stolen. So I also usually have two different types of credit cards. If I have an Amex, I will take a Visa, and I call both credit card companies. I do that because what if someone's having a glitch, or what if they don't take an American Express? I make sure I have a backup one. And then you're going to want some small bills. You're not going to want to take thousands of dollars with you, but you do want small bills to use for tipping on the porters when you get there with the luggage. You're going to want to tip maybe you have some great spectacular service on the ship and you want to give them an extra tip, you can do that as well. And then even when you go into the ports, sometimes you can't use a credit card, and then sometimes you're getting a little small magnet and you don't really want to put that on your credit card. So make sure you have some small bills cash with you when you actually go for that as well. And then the next thing you want to do is download the ship's app. They are usually all free. At least every cruise line I've sailed with has been a free app. That's going to be some great vital information when you're on the ship. It will tell you events happening right then and events coming up. It will also be a great way to check daily your onboard account. And we'll tell you another way later, but it's just a great little thing. Plus sometimes they give you little countdowns to your cruise, which is always fun. So we're actually going on vacation. Yay! So we're actually going to the ship. When you arrive, you're going to need to park your car, obviously. So you will need to know with this is you are going to have a credit card or debit card to put into the machine, or some cruise lines actually have a physical person, but a lot do not. So you need a credit card for that. Now, I usually have paid anywhere from $80 to $140 to park. And that just depends on cruise line, duration, or how long you're gone on the cruise. And it also includes ports. That changes. I don't know the formula, if there is one, probably not, to how to figure it out ahead of time, but you are going to have to pay to park your vehicle. And so if you're traveling with a lot of people, try to condense in so that you don't have to pay for each of those cars parking. There are some ports who have parking that is away from that, and you can get shuttled over. It doesn't have anything to do with the cruise line. Those are independently owned. So you can check into those. And then also another thing that you can do is if you're staying in a hotel before, and this is something that if you're my client, we need to be talking about. If you're going to stay in a hotel beforehand, you would want to pick a hotel close to the port, plus one that has something that's called like a sail and park, where you can actually stay the night before in the hotel. They will then let you keep your car at their hotel, and they will shuttle you over to the port, but they do not come back and pick you up. So there are taxis readily available when you get off the ship that you could take, or you could call an Uber or a Lyft, and then you can actually do that as well. I have done that. Just a little side note, my rule of thumb is if I am driving more than 2 hours to a port of call, I'm staying in a hotel close to the port overnight, because I'm not taking the risk of traffic or an accident and a backup or something happening and I don't get to the ship, because the ship doesn't wait. So you do what you feel, but if you're going to stay, you can talk to me about that, or just go and book a hotel that is close to the port and that has something that where you can park your car there. So that's an option as well. All right, so we've parked our car, and either you're going to already have paid for the parking and put a little bar, put that receipt in your window of your car so that it can be scanned when you leave, or some of them give you a scan ticket that you don't pay, and then we put that ticket in hubby's wallet. Do not leave it in your car. And there'll be signs all around the parking garage. Read the signs, pay attention. I know you're excited, you're about to get on the ship, but pay attention to signs and important information, because when we do all these important things, it's gonna make it much easier and you get to enjoy your vacation faster if you just pay attention. So if you're not prepaying and the signs say take your ticket with you, take it out of the car, I always put it in hubby's wallet, because that is the exact thing that will go back on his person when we leave the ship, and I'm not rambling and can't figure out where that ticket is, because when you, like this happened on Norwegian in Port Canaveral. We took the ticket, put it in hubby's wallet. When we got off the ship, all along the sidewalk, there was a like kiosks or, you know, ticket machines. You put that ticket in, he took it out of his wallet, put the ticket in, and then paid for it, was given a scannable ticket, went to the car. When we left, it was, we scanned the ticket with the little machine because it was all machines. So just pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on around you, and listen to announcements, because they're talking to you for a reason. All right, so now you got your bags, and now you're out of your car, and now you are going to, remember this too, you're in a parking garage, so, or wherever, so all of these bags have to go along with you. The only exception I've had so far is with Disney Cruise Line out of Port Canaveral. They actually took our bags out of the car before we ever parked in the parking garage, which was kind of nice. So, the others, you're going to be pulling them along with you till you get to the porter, which is the men and women who are actually taking the bags. Now, another thing I do here, and I already have it ready in my hand, is I give them a couple of dollars per bag as a tip to thank them for taking my bags. They are not cruise line employees, and no one who is working at the dock area, including security and check-in, are cruise line employees. They are Port Authority employees. So I tip them, and then I move on. Now, do not put your passport or your cruise documents in your luggage. Do not hand them to the porter. You have them on your person. You're going to take your purse, your carry-on bag, and your passports and your cruise documents with you. Then you're going to security. Security is a lot like airline security. You're going to go through there, and they're going to scan your bags and all of that. I've never had to take off my shoes or anything like that on at the port security, but I do find it interesting that they seem a little happier there, and I think it's because they deal with everyone who is going on a vacation, and everyone's excited. So I think that's why they're happier there. So once you get through security, you're going to go to the check-in desk, and this is going to be a long line. From the time you give your bags up, you are in a long line. Now, back to the check-in online. Some of the cruise lines actually have you choose a time to check in, and so you arrive at that time. If you're running late, please don't worry about it. And then some of them do not. So generally, anywhere around 11 o'clock, people will line up before them. But I say from 11 o'clock on, making sure you're 2 hours before that time, though. So you're going to want to make sure, excuse me, I'm going to get some water. You're going to want to make sure that you know that you're going to wait in line. So smile, be happy. Everyone is there on vacation, and they're all having to wait in line, and you're all going to get on the ship and have a great time. These are going to be your friends and family for the next duration. So just make sure that you were polite with everyone, and you're going to have to wait in line. If you don't want to wait in line, this is what I say. Show up anywhere from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock, and you will zip right through it. So as you're waiting in line, some cruise lines actually have you fill out a health form. Now, this health form is just a very short form with a few questions that everyone in the cabin has to fill out. And it is just to know things like, did you run a fever or throw up? And, were you sick in the last 2 weeks, or around someone who was sick in the last 2 weeks? Because they don't want you on the ship sick. Everyone will be sick. So that's what the health form is for. I have my pen in my carry-on bag or my purse, so I can fill that out. If they don't give it to you then, they're going to give it to you when you arrive at the check-in desk. Once you arrive at the check-in desk, you're going to give them your passport, you're going to give them your cruise documents, the health form, or fill out the health form, and you're going to give them a credit card, the one that you signed in or online, or if you need to change that credit card, you certainly can, just giving them that credit card at that time. So they're going to take your form then they're going to check your ID, they're going to hand you back your passport, put that passport away because you don't need it again currently, and you don't want to misplace it because that's very important. So put that passport away. Then they're going to take your picture, and then everyone's picture as a matter of fact, and then they are going to take your credit card, and they're going to put that credit card on file. They're going to give you back your credit card, put your credit card away. You no longer need this credit card unless you're in a port or you're home again. And then they're going to give you another card. It's the size of a credit card. Some ships call it sign and sail card. Some ships call it a freestyle card. Some ships call it a key to the world card. If you want to see what it actually looks like, or one looks like, I have other videos on YouTube that you can actually see cabins of cruise ships, some of the cruise ships that I've been on. So you can see what that is like. A little tip here is I like to get a lanyard. You can either get them when you get on the ship, that's a regular lanyard that you can hang around your neck, or I buy a really nice cute one off of, I don't think I brought it with me, a really cute little necklace. It looks like a necklace that I got on Amazon, and it has a little plastic pouch that you can put the card in. Some of the cards have a little hole cut out, or a little square cut out that you can take that plastic piece off and you can clip on your card, and you don't have to put it in the plastic piece, because you literally do have to take it in and out of that plastic piece. And so it's a little bit easier if you can take it off the plastic piece. But a lanyard, trust me, hubby said to me, I am not getting a lanyard the first time, but let me tell you, within 3 or 4 times of him having to get in his wallet, take out that card, he was done, and he's opted for the lanyard, and now we have lanyards. So that lanyard is going to save you. So that's going to be very, very important. So you've done your check-in at the check-in desk, and so they're going to then either tell you that you can go get on the ship, or they're going to give you some type of code, like a number or a color or an alphabet letter or whatever, and you're going to sit and you're going to wait to board the ship. And the only reason everyone would be waiting is because the ship is not ready. Because by that I mean the ship has just come back into port with cruisers who are leaving their vacation, and so they have to clean all those common areas and get them ready after they get everyone off the ship, and then they will start allowing us to go on. And that is why you can't go into your room, because now they're cleaning the rooms, even though we're starting our vacation and coming onto the common areas of the ship. But they still have to clean the rooms, and it's usually generally between 1 and 2 o'clock. The cruise line will let you know. There'll be doors closed there that'll have a note on it, and it'll tell you when you can go in. So that's why you need a carry-on if you want to carry on. But remember, you are doing just that. You are carrying it all around the ship until the doors open. So if there's no need for that, if you only want to do it for maybe a bathing suit, put your bathing suit on underneath, and then you'll already be dressed for the pool. Because a tidbit is the pools and everything, the pool, the sauna, the spa, all those things are way less busy on embarkation day when you get on the ship, and on port days. So those are 2 times that you can really use a lot of the facilities with hardly anyone else using it. So they will let you know when it's time to actually board the ship. So you want to make sure to what you're going to do there. Then when you actually board the ship, you get to eat. Yay! The vacation has begun, so you actually get to go and eat then. Now, you're going to either go to the buffet that most everybody goes to, or ask a crew member, where is their sit-down restaurant that is open? Your buffet and your sit-down restaurant in the dining room in the main dining rooms are all included in the price of your cruise. So you just want to ask where that is. A lot of people don't know this, that you can either go straight to the buffet and just get all your heart's desired, or you can go sit down and start getting pampered and waited on and still eat all your heart's desired, because you are allowed to eat all your heart's desired. You want 2 appetizers? Order. You want 2 entrees? Order them. You want 5 desserts? Go ahead, order them. They're all included in the price of the cruise, and feel free to eat them and to enjoy them. So it's time to indulge. You're on vacation. So those are your 2 choices. There are also sometimes some specialty restaurants that are open, and a specialty restaurant will either charge a cover charge and then you eat what you eat on the menu, or it's an a la carte chart, which means you're going to pay for whatever you eat. So just know that there are specialty restaurants now up and coming on cruise ships. Didn't used to be that way, but there are now. So once your room is available, you can, those doors are open. You can go in and and find your cabin, and then from there you will use your card to open your door and go in. In some cruise ships, you have to use your card to turn on the lights. I have another video that you can actually see me doing that as well. But some cruise ships, you don't have to do that, and some you do. Your luggage may be outside the door. Some of your luggage may be outside the door. None of your luggage may be outside the door. Don't panic. That's all normal and fine. If your luggage is, start unpacking. Feel free to go ahead and unpack. Send me a picture of your room. I'd love to see it, and then and text it to me, because if you're my client, you have my personal cell phone number. So go ahead and start unpacking. And then about that time, you're probably going to meet your room steward or your cabin steward. He or she will either see you in the hallway, or they will come and greet you, and they are so pleasant, so helpful. You will love them. You will want to bring them home with you. You will look when you come back from vacation and say, where is my cabin steward at? Because they are going to pamper you. They will clean up your room every single day. Once you leave your room, if you go back and your bed is all made and everything's cleaned up and everything is freshly restocked and it looks immaculate like the day you got there, and you decide to turn down the bed and mess everything up and take a nap, that's fine. You come back again and it's all done again for you, which is really fun. And then at night they come and they turn down your bed every night. They're going to leave you a newsletter, and we'll talk about that. But they're going to turn down your bed, leave you a little surprise and a newsletter. And so they're awesome people. Talk to them, ask them how their day is, ask them about their family if they have time to chit chat. But if they don't keep them. You're not their only cabin that they're taking care of, but they're great. They're wonderful. Cruise ship employees, love them. They wait on you. They're just, you're going to be in love. So you're going to love that. All right, so you've unpacked. And so the next thing that you can do is go back on deck and grab a drink. And at that point, this is what hubby and I do, and we start walking around and touring the ship. One of the things I forgot to tell you is when you're at the check-in desk, grab yourself a cruise map and grab yourself the current newsletter of the day. A new ship newsletter is given to you every night, and then it will tell you what's going on, where is it at, what time is it, and then at every elevator is going to be a map that's going to tell you you're here, and then you can find out where something is, so that you'll know which way you have to go. Crew members, always great to ask, and they'll be able to help you as well. So go grab yourself a drink and start taking a tour of the ship. If you go to the spa, a lot of times you can sign up to take a tour, and they'll do raffles and things like that. Some of the cruise lines do that. You will not, if you have a casino on your ship, you will not be able to go to the casino because they legally cannot be open until they're so far out in the water, and then they won't be open in ports either. So you have to wait for those to actually open. But go toward the ship. This is a time too that if you need to talk to guest services about anything, if you need to make a reservation for anything that maybe you're like, hey, I want to do that, you can go make a reservation for that. So this is the time to do all that. Just grab that drink, tour the ship, and have a great time. Now, the next thing that's going to be happening, and you will hear announcements all the time. Pay attention to the announcements. They're announcements for a reason. So you want to listen to what's going on and what they're telling you that's going to be happening. You're going to be hearing a lot in the beginning about the muster drill. That is very, very important. You cannot get out of it. It is legally required that you do it. And it is a practice drill of where to go in case of an emergency on the ship. Which, don't worry, we're going to be fine. So you need to know what to do. It's kind of like the airline when they're telling you what to do in case of an emergency, but you know, unfortunately, we don't pay attention. You're going to have to participate and pay attention in this one. So all it entails is you go to your designated place, and that muster drill place would be both on your key card and then on the back of your room door. So look at your key card and then look at the back of your room door, and it'll tell you where is the exact place that you're going. Some are in ballrooms, some are on decks. They're in all kinds of places because they have to line everybody up. So you want to be able to go. So you need your key card always when you leave your room, always, always, always. So take it out of the light socket if the lights are on and take it with you. You have to have it every time you leave your cabin. Don't leave your card in your room ever. So you want to take your key card, and you do not need a life jacket to do the muster drill. And then you want to go to that designated place in the time that they start calling. I suggest go get in that place before everybody's trying to go in the elevators and down the stairs to get in their place. You'll sit a little longer in that place, but you won't be in the crowd. So you choose, sit longer or stand longer in the place or be in the crowd. You have to kind of weigh that out. But everyone in the cabin has to go. And when you get there, they are going to scan that key card, and that's how they know that you participated. If you did not get scanned, they are going to come find you, and they are going to make you do a muster drill by yourself. And if you refuse, or if they're, they can, and they have been, I have known where they took someone and put them off the ship because they refused to do a muster drill. So please, just do the muster drill. Once you get there, you're standing with everybody else, and turn off your phone, get off your phone, because they will call you out on it. When they start talking, don't talk. They are going to stand there with the life jackets, and they're going to demonstrate what to do. So here's a good time to pay attention of actually what to do. 15 minutes tops the whole thing takes, and you go, and you're done. You're now free to roam around the ship. And at that point, you want to go and find a place to watch the ship sail away. A lot of times cruise lines have a sail away party on the main deck up top, so you can go see. Sometimes you want to find a quiet place on another deck that the ship party's not going on, and you can watch the ship sail away if you have a balcony. Hubby and I like to go and sit on our balcony and watch the ship sail away. So just wherever you want to do, just go and it's your own vacation. Enjoy the time. But this is the time, ladies and gentlemen, that you're going to want to say your last text goodbye to all of those at home, and you are going to want to put your phone on airplane mode. So make sure you do that. You want your phone to go on airplane mode, because you do not want the charges that your cell phone company is going to charge you when you're not on airplane mode. My youngest son cost me, his part of the bill alone was $700 while he went away on a cruise and did not put it on airplane mode. And I got a nice little hefty bill from that. So make sure you put that phone on airplane mode at that time. You're still able to take pictures. That's not going to affect it. You're just not going to be able to put all of that on social media unless you got an internet package, and then the cruise app and the cruise line or anyone on the ship can help you set up your internet package that you may have gotten as a perk or you purchased. Another thing I want to tell you, if you do have internet package, you want to make sure and log out every single time. This girl made that mistake of buying an internet package, and the next morning after I sailed away the first day, my entire internet package minutes had been eaten up because I forgot to log out. So log out every time you're not using it. You can share it generally with whoever else is in your cabin. Hubby and I share ours, but we do make sure that we log out each and every time so we don't eat the minutes up. Learn that mistake the hard way. So good thing you have a travel advisor like me. So now we're sailing away, and then the next thing after that is just do what you want. Go and enjoy the time. We like to start thinking at that time about, well, what are we going to do for dinner? Are we going to just go to the buffet? Which is also included, or do we want to go to the dining room? Now, you would have already, if you're my client, I've already chosen for you, or you and I have chosen together, a dining time for you. And that is either going to be early dining or late dining. The ship will let you know, and it's in the newsletter right there, of what time early dining is and what time late dining is. And then there's anytime dining or freestyle dining, or they're called different things. It's a pick when you want to show up dining plan. So I usually do that one. And so then you will then go to the dining room that you've been designated to by the ship, and that's on your card. Go to that dining room, either at your indicated dining, early or late dining, or at your any time you want to go. But know that if you do anytime dining, you might have to wait, just like at a restaurant, you might have to wait for a table to open up. It's no big deal. You're not going to wait that long. So just know those are your options, or go to a specialty restaurant. If a specialty restaurant was not included in your perks as a package, then you are obviously going to pay for that specialty restaurant, and that's where that little key card is going to come in handy, and there will be a gratuity added onto that as well. That is automatic, so just know that. Speaking of gratuities, you either chose to pay for your gratuities for your entire ship, which includes your room steward, your waiters, gratuities, or if you have a drink package, those gratuities were paid before. For the gratuities for the other, you can pay them if you want online before you ever leave the cruise, or you can pay those gratuities to go on your account, to go on your credit card after the cruise. You choose. It's up to you on that. If you had a drink package, you pretty much had to pay those. Most cruise lines make you pay those gratuities. They're prepaid. But know that if you have a drink package and it's those gratuities are prepaid. Some cruise lines bring you a receipt to sign anyway, and it says 0, but they're wanting to know if you want to add some more, you can. Add some more tip on it. It'll automatically go onto your account, which goes onto your charge card, or you could have some small bills and hand them a little bit of extra tip. Hubby and I always like to give them something extra just because they work so hard, and that small amount of gratuities that you paid to share with everybody across the ship who helped you in some way is such a small amount. So we like to take some extra cash and tip them. We either tip them each time, or we tip them the last night of the cruise before we go. That just depends. But hubby likes to make friends with a server or a bartender, or whoever is going to be giving you that. And you just want to make sure that because even if you, just so you know, for soda or water, you're seeing a bartender. So just make sure that you, when they see you and you've given them a little bit of extra, they remember you. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they remember your names. They do. I don't know. They're amazing. I love them. You'll love them. So decide where you're going to have dinner, or don't decide. decide on a whim. It doesn't matter, but that's usually what I do. I go ahead and do that. And then you're gonna make sure that you've looked at that newsletter and you see what's going on that night. There's gonna be a show that night. Most of the cruise lines, the shows are included. Some you still have to have reservations for, some you do not. So either you've pre-made them before you left, or you're gonna need to go to the reservations desk and make those reservations when you get on the ship for either that night or the duration of the cruise, or however you want to do it. But there is going to be all kinds of things to do immediately once you sail away. When that sail away party happens, it's time to rock and roll, because you are going to be so much to do, or just go hang out in your room and do nothing, or in a quiet place on the ship and do nothing. It's your cruise. Do what you want to do. Either or, do whichever one that you want to do. So, one of the things, so we talked about eating. Sorry about that. We've talked about eating, going to your room, and then what's included. So I've kind of been telling you what's included in your cruise because your first time, you don't know. Your food in the buffet and in the main dining room, breakfast, lunch, and dinner included. There's usually places around that are included, like pizza places, or just little grub places that you can get food. You can eat on a ship 24 hours a day. Room service, some are included, some are not. But the one thing that I want to remind you of is, if you do get room service, and it's included or not, there is a gratuity on that, because that's a service that they brought you. And then shows, most of your shows and comedy shows and piano, Howl at the Moon type of piano bar things, all of that is included in the price of your cruise. You literally could pay for a cruise before you go and eat and drink what's included and participate in what's included and still have an amazing time. So, those are just different things that you're going to get to do. But another little thing is have fun and participate. Say hi to people in the elevators. You're all friends and family for the next duration. You're on this one cruise ship house together. So say hi to people. They are pretty friendly, and yeah, you're all frustrated that you've been waiting on the elevator. So take the stairs. But you know what? Laugh, have a good time, participate, have fun, do some crazy things, do some things that you've never done. There's some crazy fun things to watch. If you don't want to participate, at least go watch the crazy fun things that are included in the price of the cruise that are happening all over the ship. Just pay attention to your newsletter and it'll tell you that. And I think I talked a little bit about the tipping, but I just want to touch on it again. Those tipping gratuities were either paid before on the drink package. They definitely were. You can pay online your tips or gratuities before you leave, or you can wait and pay them at the end of the cruise on your credit card. It'll go on your onboard account. You can pay it on your credit card. And then like I said, I like to have some small bills that I can give to my waiter in the dining room, who's waited on me every night and has remembered my name and remembered that my hubby loves shrimp cocktail and left it for him every night before we got there. They do things like that. They're amazing. And so I like to give them a little bit of extra money on that last night. And definitely for my cabin steward, the room steward, I leave them some cash when I leave. And I always take a little note, because there's a pen and note paper, and I take them, write them a note and thank them for what an amazing, amazing job they did for us. And if they're, or if I see them, I'll hand it to them, because they come try and say goodbye to you. So that's a lot of fun. All right, back in your cabin on your television is a lot of, there's information channels that you can scroll through. Some will show you actually where you are and how far you've traveled, and how fast the ship is going, and how much further you have to go. And so that's kind of fun. I always like to look at that. Another thing is your onboard account. So you can see any charges that you are swiping with your little trusty key card, that to know what it is actually being charged. I highly suggest that every night before you go to bed, you look at this, you make sure that these are your charges, because you want to go handle that the next day if it is not, or that day you want to go and handle that. You can talk to guest services. I had an incident in a spa once where I was charged for something that I didn't have, and they were no problem. They took it off. But look at your charges, be smart, and then at the end of the cruise, you're going to get a printout of those charges. Make sure you have looked the night before and then check it again in the morning. If anything's different, you're going to have to go get in the very long line of guest services and talk to guest services about your bill at that point in time. So make sure you do that. But it'll also give you a very, very important thing called ship time. That is your best friend. Ship time is the only time that matters when you are on your cruise. Your cell phone time, your watch time, your neighbor's watch time does not matter. Ship time is the only thing that matters, and you will see that on your television. So you want to be able to go by ship time. I always take a watch that's not going to reset itself. I take a watch that we wear off into port, and on that watch I set the time to ship time before I leave, because that ship comes and goes by its time, not yours. A ship will leave you in port if you are not back. So please, ship time is important. If you're sailing and you move, time is going to move ahead or back, and that has happened on a lot of cruises I go on. The night before, your room cabin, your steward cabin, will leave you a card and tell you to set your clocks ahead or back an hour or two or back, whatever it is. Don't worry, they're going to tell you. And then that morning when you get up, you're going to check ship time, and you're going to set your watch by ship time to make sure that you do not get lost. Also, if you're going to leave, they're going to tell you what time you need to be back. We'll talk about that in a minute. But another thing on the television is sometimes they'll show you a video footage of fun things that have happened already on the ship as the days go by. Sometimes they'll give you talks that they did in a room. Once I watched a talk on on a sea day, I watched a talk on how to know about diamonds in the class and the 4 C's of diamonds, and I learned a lot. It was great. I had a great time. I didn't go down to that class. I could have gone in there and watched it, but I didn't pay attention to it then, so I just happened to turn on the TV one day and watched it. So you can watch some funny things on there, so you want to do that as well. So then the next thing that we want to do is talk about we've talked about ship time, we've talked about our lanyards, and let's talk about going into the port. That's the next most important thing, is going into the port. So when you go into the port, you are going to want to make sure that you have your passport, that you have your sign and sail card, because what that card does is get you off the ship and get you back on the ship. And then you're going to need some small bills, cash as well. And then obviously bring sunscreen, put your sunscreen on, hat, whatever you're going to need if you're taking an excursion. But when you get off of the ship, you are going to use your credit card or your cash for money there. That card is no good there. And then you're going to actually take your ID, because you're going to have to show that to get back on the ship. So make sure you bring that with you. And then when I'm not using those valuable things like my credit cards and my passports, those and jewelry and things like that, that's locked in my cabin safe, which you do the code to and all of that. If you can't figure it out, it's pretty self-explanatory, but if you can't figure it out, ask your cabin steward and they'll be more than happy to show you how to use that. So you want to take that passport with you, your credit card, some small bills, and you want to take your ship card only because you've got to get on and off the ship. That's how they know whether or not you have left the ship or gotten back on the ship. And then know what time are you supposed to, what time is all aboard time? That's what they call it. What time is all aboard time, which means what time do I have to be back on this ship? My rule of thumb is they tell me 3 o'clock, this girl's going to be back 2 hours before, for 2 reasons. One, the ship is almost deserted, so it's fun. You get the pool, the jacuzzi. Hubby and I laid in the adult only area of the ship by ourselves one time because we came back early. And then the other thing is I'm just going to make sure this girl is back on the ship because I'm not getting left. So you want to make sure that you are going to be back, and you will be told in the newsletter what time is all aboard time. You will be told on the television what time is all aboard time. You can ask every crew member you see, and I do ask 3 or 4 of them every time I pass them, and there'll be a sign to usually before you check out what time all aboard time is. So pay attention and go ahead and do that all aboard time. And then another thing about the ports is, you know, if you're not doing an excursion and you just want to get off and do that, go ahead and just get off and go see the city. Be smart, be smart, be smart. This is not the time to wear your Louis Vuitton, and this is not the time to flash all your great things. So be minimalistic on your jewelry. And hubby always puts his wallet to the front pocket, never leave it in the back pocket. Both his wallet, and I always have a special travel purse. They have the RFID security protector. My purse is also, it locks with extra little clips, and you can't cut the straps. I mean, come on, you're on vacation and you're also in different places that aren't familiar. So just be smart and be wise when you look around, so that you know what you're aware of, and put your, ladies, wear that purse over your shoulder, over your body as a crossbody, and put it to the front of you. So just be smart, but have fun. Don't live in fear, but be smart and have a good time. So if you do get off to go look around on your own, be smart. Don't venture off into places, you know, that seem a little questionable if you're not on an excursion. And if you're on an excursion, I suggest that if you're not doing a ship excursion, I will be sending you my favorite excursion people of all time, even over the ships, for a lot of different reasons, but I'll give you a lot of information on that, so if you want to book an excursion with them. Another tip is, if you don't have an allotted time because you're not getting off the ship for an excursion, and if you do, you're being given an allotted time, so be ready and be mindful of that allotted time so you don't get left by the excursion. But if you're just going to tour out on your own, what I do, hubby and I just go eat breakfast and enjoy the view of the new port that we're sitting in, and we wait for everybody to get gone, and then we go down because we walk right off the ship. Now, you will miss the photographers if there's photographers there taking pictures of you coming on and off the ship, but you know, we've cruised enough that doesn't matter to us, so we're good about that. So you could go off and have some lunch if you want, or not. Go off and do some looking around and come back and eat the lunch that you've already paid for. That's included in the price of your cruise. So either way, just making sure you know what time to be back, making sure that you're smart, have your passport, have your sign and sail card, have your credit card, have you some small bills. Those are the most important things, and enjoy the new place. Have fun, take some pictures. Sometimes you can find Wi-Fi spots, because you're not going to be able to use your ship Wi-Fi there. So you can find some free Wi-Fi spots. Ask your cabin steward. These people get off too. They get times to get off, not all right when you are, but they have different allotted times that they can get off. So they know the places with the free Wi-Fi spots too, so they can tell you. So ask them. And then take lots of pictures. Take lots and lots and lots and lots of pictures. And like I said, your cell phone will work on airplane mode and take pictures and videos, so you'll be able to do that. And then the next thing about ports is just, like I said, be back before then. And been talking about ship photographers, you're going to have a ship photographer from the very beginning. When you go to get on the ship, they'll have a photographer, and there'll be a backdrop of the ship. You can get a picture there, or you can slide on by. You don't have to get a picture. All your pictures are going to be in the photo gallery that you can look at them. I like to wait. It will be busy, but I like to wait to the end of the cruise if I'm getting pictures. That way I can, sometimes if I want them all, they'll give me a good deal. when you do your online checking before you leave, some cruise lines actually sell you some discounted packages that you can buy before then. So then if you do buy those, you're going to want to wait before your last night before you leave to look at those. They're usually, most cruise lines do not have your photo galleries open the day of, so you're going to want to check those pictures out. If you don't want pictures, don't get pictures. If you want pictures, then get the pictures. Either way, it doesn't matter. I can tell you a little incident that happened. That was the first time it happened to me on a cruise line that had a specialty dining. On even your included dining room where you sit down and you're waited on, you will have photographers come around and take your picture, but that usually is then in the photo gallery for you to decide whether or not you want to buy the picture. This particular cruise line in the specialty restaurant, they came around, took our picture. We didn't think anything of it. A little while later, they came back with the printed picture and a receipt for us to sign for the picture. We bought the picture. I was a little taken back thinking, oh wow, that's never happened before on this cruise line. I was on a different ship on that particular cruise line. And so I probably could have just said, no, thank you, I don't want it, because they didn't indicate that I was going to have to buy it. So just so you know, most of those, most photographers on the ship, if not all except in that instance, are taking your pictures. You do not have to buy these pictures at the end, and you will use your sign and sale or your little key card to pay for those pictures that will go onto your credit card. But it's a nice memento to have and fun to have. If you don't, I've cruised and taken lots of pictures. I've cruised and bought no pictures. So that's completely up to you. All right, so let's talk about disembarkation and going home. So, and we're almost done. So you're going to do that one or two ways. You're going to either do self-assist, where it is just that. You are self-assisting yourself to take all of your luggage, every single bit of it, off the ship by yourself, through the elevators, up and down the stairs, whatever you have to do, you do it by yourself. You cannot change your mind halfway through that morning and ask for help, because you're not going to be able to get that help. So self-assist is just that. You assist yourself. I have done that. And so you just know that that's what you're going to do. The other choice is that you are going to have them take all of your luggage off the ship, just like you had them bring your luggage on the ship. So how that works is the night before the cruise is to be ending, your room steward will bring you new luggage tags. So you will take your old luggage tags off. Please remember to do that. You want your luggage to go off the ship with you. Take the old luggage tags off, put the new luggage tags on. And then you are going to want to pack up all of your belongings the night before you get off. But there's a little bit of way that you're going to need to do this, because if you were to throw everything into your luggage, you have to have you have to have your suitcases generally outside your cabin door by midnight. Pay attention to the announcements in the newsletter to know the time. Generally it's midnight, but if you were to do that and the next morning you wake up and you're in your jammies, you're going to get off the ship in your jammies. And if you're in your birthday suit, I don't know what you're going to do. So this is how you do it. You will pack up all of your luggage, and you will put your new tags on it, and you will put it outside your door before midnight or the allotted time. But what you want to do is pull out anything you're going to need to put on the next morning. Don't forget your unmentionables. Don't forget your shoes. Don't forget to your makeup, deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrush, all those important things. So I have what I call a carry-off bag. I don't do a carry-on bag. If you used your carry-on bag, maybe you can take this and be your carry-off bag. But I have a carry-off bag. So I have all of those things that I need and my clothes set aside. I pack up every single thing else, put my new tags on, put it outside the door. Now, the next morning when I get up, I take off my jammies, I put them in my carry-off bag, I put on my clothes, I put on my makeup, brush my teeth, do all that good fun stuff, and then I put all that in my carry-off bag. I write my note of thank you, I leave my tip for my cabin steward, I look around my room, hubby looks around our room, then we say, goodbye cabin, it was great, I hope we come back soon, and we exit the door. And then we will then, for us, we choose to go find out where breakfast is being served in restaurants. They'll tell you in a newsletter and the night before, or if you didn't pay attention, ask someone and go to where breakfast is being served, and then we will get off our ship when we are done that. We do it kind of more leisurely and take our time doing that. The other way you would do that exact same scenario is the only difference is your luggage tags are coded differently, either with a letter or a color or whatever the cruise line uses, and we're going to use the example of blue tags. So say your cruise line is giving you a blue tag. That means when the announcements are done in the morning, you're going to be paying attention and you're going to know when they call the blue tags, and they're going to tell all blue tags can either go wait in this area, or they're going to say you can come down to the gangway and disembark the ship. So you're going to need, I forgot to tell you, make sure you check your safe, but you're going to need your passport and you're going to need your sign-in, your key card again. So make sure those are not in your luggage. That's very important. So you're going to make sure you get all of that, and when you go down, do not go until your tags are called. And some can be called as soon as 7 a.m. in the morning. It just depends on the cruise line. So you want to either leave your room and go wait in the designated area for your tags and then wait to be called, or you want to go to breakfast and then you're going to wait to be called for your tags, or if it's past your tags, just go ahead and get off the ship once you're done with your breakfast. But the point we do with breakfast is to wait pretty much everybody has been called, because you usually have a time you have to be out of your cabin. Normally that's 8 a.m. The cruise line will let you know. And so for us, we just get out by 8 a.m., go have some breakfast, wait for the hoopla, and then we disembark the ship. So how that works is, no matter if you self-assist or you go by the tags in the luggage, you will take your card, you will have your passport in hand, and you will have your cards. First thing is they'll swipe your card, which means that you have now left the ship. You are no longer with that cruise line, and then you will go to the luggage area. That's also coded. So using the example blue, if my tags are blue, I'm looking for the luggage under blue. You will then have porters again who do not work for the cruise line, who are going to ask you if you need help with your luggage. Now, if they ask you, they're expecting you to tip them. If you don't want to tip them, that's fine, just don't ask them for their help. And so find your luggage, and now you're going to go get into the customs line. At this point, another thing is, if you bought something in port that you have to report to customs to come back into the U.S., you will get those forms also the night before in your room, and you will fill out that customs form, and you'll have that ready for customs, and they'll explain to you exactly how you need to do that. So you're now in the customs line, so you're going to need that passport open and ready to your picture. You're going to, that sign and sale card you can put away, you don't need it, it doesn't belong, it's just a souvenir now. It doesn't have any relevance at this point. So you're going to take that passport, you're going to go to customs if you don't have anything to declare, and then you're going to be asked some questions, and then you're going to be free to go with your luggage and your porter, or not your porter, but you may not enter once you exit that building because you have gone through customs and they take it seriously. This is the government, and so you cannot re-enter that building. So you're not going to be able to take that. So that's just a little point that you want to make sure and know. And then you would go over and declare, see what you have to declare. And that's what they're going to ask you. Are you declaring anything? It's very simple. They're trying to move you pretty quickly. So to get everyone off the ship so they can clean the ship and the new people can start showing up and sail on the ship. Another tip that I want to tell you about is called the Next Cruise Desk. That's usually what they're called on the ship. And that Next Cruise Desk means you can go there and either book a cruise at that time, your next cruise. Just make sure you tell them that Sandra Hersey is with your travel agent, the travel agent who booked that cruise. They'll have that information that that travel agent is who you want, so I can help walk you through that process and double check your room and your documents and all that for you when you get home. And then, or you don't have to, you can just buy a voucher then and for a future cruise. And the reason that you would want to do that is a lot of times you'll hear them advertise it, you'll get them in your room, flyers that tell you some little bit of information of getting some extra perks on your next cruise. So those are always good to do. Just importantly, if you're going to want to tell them, that make sure that it's put under me as your travel agent, because you're going to want me to walk you through the process again and not leave you out there on your own. So with that, I know this has been very long, but maybe you watched it in some breaks, but it is vital information that is going to help you on your cruise. I am so grateful to have you as my client. If you're not my client, I would love to pamper you and to help you on your next vacation, your next cruise. Just contact me at seymourvacations.com. The link is down below. And so with that, I am saying I'm excited because you are going to have a fabulous cruise. Any questions, let me know. So for now, bye-bye, and I will talk to you soon. Watch for those fun mails and those surprises that I'm going to be sending to you. Have a great day.